What you have in front of you are our recommendations, our hopes, and also our dreams for our future. You will see it covers many different topics, including jobs, education, political participation, and also ways that we think we should rejuvenate the multilateral system.
Dreams are quite similar when we were young, kind of same dream. You want a job, you want a good education, and all these things. You want to travel, I wanted to become a football player, professional, but I never made it.
When I was about your age, I wanted to be a writer, actually. I wanted to tell stories. There's one big story, at least there are several, but one for your generation that's related, for example, with climate change. When I think about my son, he is 8. When I think about him and what's it going to be like, his world, your world, then that is energy to pursue change. That's passion in order to divert the direction we are heading. Well, I believe me being kind of young has helped because perhaps it's easier for me to translate certain worldviews to action, or perhaps comprehend better. But my real takeaway is that age is not an obstacle to make change happen.
And you talked about climate change. I found it interesting in both your countries you have climate as something that is taught in schools, which is not in a lot of countries. And we know that through the pandemic, 90% of students weren't able to continue in-person classes, and now more than 10 million people won't be able to go back to school. And so we were interested to know, especially in the sphere of technology, as a lot of young people need technology to either go to work or go to school. What do you think your countries need that you're not doing? Because I know you're doing a lot already. You're teaching climate change, there's a high literacy in both of your countries, but what is it that you're not doing and that you could do better in the sphere of education to bring more young people technology or other tools that can help them have that?
We can provide technology, but then again, given the fact that the world is so different, the inequality, I think we need to make sure that many students all have this right to technologies. I think it must be one of the things that when we have cooperation with other countries, poorer countries also, we need to think that through, because education is so critical, it's key.
In the case of Costa Rica, we're doing a strong effort. We invest a lot in education. And it's one of our human talent. It's what we call our best feature. It's not it's not the mineral resources, or it's people. That's the most precious thing as a country you have.
We have a pandemic going on. We have a serious climate issue that we need to take care of. We have inequalities in our world, and we need to improve that and step up. And the best way of doing that is to listen to young people. Can I ask you guys about participation and inclusion?
Yes.
I think is key. And we need to increase that. We need to get more people involved. And I know sometimes we're told that young people are not that interested in the formal democracy. Young people are into, for example, climate and more of an activist role. But at the same time, we know that we need politicians also in the future. What's your view on that?
I truly think that the idea that young people are not interested is actually a myth and not a reality. I have never met a person that is young and is not interested in politics or the environment or just basically what's happening in their nearest context. I think the actual question is, what can governments and institutions do to be rejuvenated and to be more open and interesting for young people to be part of them? Because young people are going to continue doing their thing outside the government if they need to. And I feel like sometimes I speak now as a student that is interested in policy and government. I think it can be challenging for us students to try to find a way inside the system, because it feels like the system is old, it feels like the system is outdated.
I also wanted to add that I agree 100%. We do also need your support, your belief, and your trust in in us to actually contribute to the great work and the great vision that you have ahead of you?
In my case, I ran to be a political presidential candidate when I was 37. I started, and I became president at 38. Now I'm 41. It's hard on the body, but
Don't tell me about it.
in that we also can agree. If I were to give a piece of advice and do not take it for granted as a complete reality, is get involved and don't ask for permission, anyone's permission. Get involved, participate, and you will surprise yourselves.
We need to listen to young people. It's their future, it's their planet that they will inherit. So we need to give the best that we can. And in order to be able to do that, we need to listen.
My takeaway from the conversations today actually is a good one. It's hope. Because when you see people that are engaged, that want to get involved, want to participate, that means that there is hope that things can change and things are changing.
So how did you feel that went?
I think that was very exciting. I think the thing that I most appreciated from this conversation is, realizing that all of us share something in common, and that is the fact that we were all or are all young at one point.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was a very important factor to also humanize that connection and that conversation.
So what do we want to see going forward? The impact that they will create, but also the impact that others that they will inspire will create.
I would like to see this going beyond these two countries and beyond the conversation that we had. This is kind of seen as an unusual right now. It shouldn't be, right? So I would like this to inspire other leaders to have genuine conversations, interactions, and then obviously take action from what they heard.
Yeah. Well, thank you for this conversation. It was very fun, and now we can go back with Aish.